Welcome to Cinema Convos. This is the show where we bring guests with different tastes in film to have a meaningful discussion about the art of cinema. I'm your host, Yash. I'm here with my co-host, Zach.
Hello.
And today we are going to talk about some of the box office highlights of the summer and just kind of talk about what's been going on in the film world and also what's been going on a little bit in our own personal filmmaking journeys. So that's kind of today's plan. And at the time of recording, it is August 14th, a little past 11 p.m. My birthday is in an hour. I'm turning 30. So this is the last podcast of my 20s. So we were like, we both haven't recorded a podcast in a bit, and we're both in the same city for this weekend. So we're bringing the podcast back. That's the plan.
As we are, and hopefully, it'll stay back.
Yes.
We had an episode in a while, like it never really went away. It just,
Yeah.
we've been very busy.
It's a brief, it wasn't even really a pause. It was just, no new content for a little bit, and you'll see why when we get into the episode. Okay, so going back to earlier this year, I feel like things were looking kind of dire the first few months when it was just the new films were all pretty bad, which is pretty common in the beginning of the years. It's mostly time to catch up with the Oscar nominated content for me. But then we had in March and April, we had the first positive sign, which was both The Devil Wears Prada 2 and Michael, which performed astoundingly well at the box office. And I thought they were both really good movies too. But that was, I think, the first thing to dive into for the year.
Yeah. I do remember Bella Wears Prada 2. I saw it with you, I think. I liked it. I mean, I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it did. Um, they promoted the hell out of that thing. That really was a pretty amazing feat trying to get people up to speed on the sequel of a 20-year-old film. It also, I think the marketing was done in such a way that it was really aiming to it wasn't aiming for those people who were nostalgic for the first one. It was trying to get a whole new audience. And
Yeah.
I think it seems like it succeeded in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
And Anne Hathaway, I mean, as you'll see, Anne Hathaway's having a banner year.
And Hathaway and Zendaya, I would say, are both booked and busy, as they would say.
And Tom Holland.
Tom Holland as well, yeah. And I think one movie that's worth shouting out just because it's Zendaya and it was early in the year was A24. It's a drama. I think like a lot of people went out to see that movie. I think the trailer did a good job creating intrigue on what this movie could possibly be about. And
Yeah.
I don't think any of us were prepared to see what it was actually about.
Yeah.
Watch that one, but that was a crazy movie.
I watched it. I watched
Mhm.
it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I love what they did with the marketing.
Mhm.
But yeah, it really was singularly about the one twist in it. And I think it's a cool gimmick to like have the marketing be driven by intrigue.
Yeah, exactly. You're all wondering what's going on here? Why is what Zendaya said causing distress? But I remember seeing that movie with a pretty packed house for a movie of that nature, and that was around the same time these two other movies were playing. And I also remember the thing about Devil Wears Prada 2 that I appreciated. I saw the trailer for that movie and I immediately thought, this is just a cash grab. This is a movie that's gonna be like any other like nostalgia sequel. It's just gonna have references to the original and not be as good. But I actually ended up enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. And I actually think the events in the story add value to the original and they don't take anything away. So I actually appreciated that sequel and I don't think it's like the best movie of the year or anything like that, but it was a good time. I laughed, and I thought Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway were having a great time. Even Stanley Tucci did a really good job. Um, there are a few new younger actors in there as well. But then there was I think the more interesting thing was because Devil Wears Prada 2 was received well by critics and audiences, pretty much the same. Whereas Michael, which came out, I think, a little bit after, was, you know, not a hit with critics. Critics were heavily criticizing it. They're like, this movie is too by the numbers and it's too music biopicky. And I was already like, oh, I'm already worried about this movie. But then I saw it and it does have a lot of tropes as far as music biopics go, but it has tropes that are tried and true. The feel good elements of this kind of story. Jafar Jackson's acting was way better than I thought it would be, and he clearly worked really hard to play this role of his uncle. And the music was great because it's Michael Jackson. I mean, you can't deny that the music numbers, seeing that kind of movie in IMAX the way I did was just an experience. And audiences ate that movie up. They loved it. They saw it in droves. Made so much money regardless of the poor critical reception. So, and it's a movie that's in the Oscar conversation, even though it got bad reviews. It's interesting to me that how the movie's kind of played out with how it's being perceived by critics versus audiences.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I personally, I never ever ended up seeing it, but yeah, I think I was thrown off a little bit by the early critics' reactions to it. But yeah, no, it did awesome. It did amazing at the box office.
And it was a good movie. Like I watched it with my family and all four of us came out of it saying that was a really good movie. And my dad loved it, which he doesn't love movies that often. It's just a good, solid movie. Like it, and I think it. A lot of the critics who were criticizing it, there was a big controversy because they were talking about how like, oh, this doesn't go into the darker side of Michael Jackson's life, but then they forget that the movie only takes place until a certain point of his life before any of like the accusations or allegations really even were part of the story. So to me that was kind of a weird reason to criticize it because it's more about like how he had his early start in the Jackson 5 and then it goes all the way up until the bad era. That's pretty much where the movie ends because there is talks of a part 2 and stuff, which I don't know if they'll actually make that.
I don't think that's
I don't know if they should, but there were talks of that at some point.
yeah.
Um,
What I will say is, yeah, I mean, I heard those criticisms as well about,
mhm.
oh, you're glossing over the darker aspects. What I will say is it is kind of interesting to, with that movie, you saw his music being played a lot more after it. Like you look at Spotify statistics and you go out places, you hear Michael Jackson being played a lot more. It was not that long ago, when that when the Finding Neverland documentary came out, where people were like, we're kind of gonna shelve Michael Jackson stuff.
Mhm.
That didn't happen that long ago, and now with the success of this film, that seems to have been reversed, and most people kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, and when they announced this biopic, I thought to myself, are people going to show up to watch this? Because like, are we as a society, are we still like supporting Michael Jackson? Like, are we going to support this movie that his pretty much his family like made, like with their own money, like they produced it? They're clearly going to be selective with what's shown in the movie and what's not shown in the movie. But I mean, I thought it was great. It's a very entertaining movie, and yeah, I think I saw that on Spotify he hit his highest ever after the movie came out, and I could not stop listening to Michael Jackson songs for at least a week after watching that movie. And it's like I don't know, it showcases the music in a way where it doesn't like songs like Thriller and Beat It. I won't spoil what happens in the movie, but it doesn't show them in the way you would expect. There's certainly scenes. I mean, of course, they recreate the Motown performance. It's very famous. Where he performs Billie Jean. I think moonwalks for the first time. I think it was.
Yeah.
So it's a really good movie, and I think I'm glad audiences kind of. It reminds me a lot of Bohemian Rhapsody because even though the reviews weren't as harsh for Bohemian Rhapsody, the critics I think generally did not like it. I think the Rotten Tomatoes ended up at like 60%,
Yeah.
and I mean, I love that movie. Audiences love that movie. Both movies have the same producers. I think Graham King is the producer
Mhm.
of both, and there are similarities in that they're very like traditional. Go with the formula. But the formula is just good. It's a good formula. I personally, this might be a hot take. I enjoy both of these films more than I enjoyed A Complete Unknown, which is I think the last music biopic that was like critically acclaimed. That was more I think a showcase of Timothy Chalamet's acting, but I'm not really Bob Dylan fan. Like I don't really know his music, but I know Michael Jackson's music. I know Queen music, so I think that played a big part in my enjoyment of all those films.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just shows I guess you might like biopics more if you're familiar with their music. Like I really enjoy A Complete Unknown.
Yeah,
I
it's a good movie.
No, I really liked it. I liked it when I saw it. I've rewatched it since. I actually really enjoyed that. That being said, I grew up on Bob Dylan's music.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with this stuff. And I was with Michael Jackson and Queen as well. Do you have to be familiar with somebody's music to enjoy their biopic?
No, I still enjoyed A Complete Unknown, but I do think it can make it more enjoyable. If you're a fan of the music and it's a music film, one example of a music biopic that I did not like, which I talked to you about as well, was the Springsteen movie. And that's not because I don't like Bruce Springsteen's music. I watched Blinded by the Light, and I loved the music, how it was used in that film. But in Springsteen, the movie tries very hard to be different. It's about a very specific era in Bruce Springsteen's life, and it felt very Oscar baity more than these other films where it wasn't. I'm all for like make a movie about a specific point in someone's life. Obviously, the works of like Pablo Larraín, like Jackie, or most recently Maria.
Yeah.
And then what was the other film he did?
It's escaping me right now.
But there's like these he makes biopics about specific points in people's lives, but that's fine. Like that's it's an interesting way to do it. Um, I think it would have been more interesting to do like a traditional biopic for Springsteen.
Yeah.
It could have been a better movie.
So the Springsteen movie you mentioned, I hadn't seen that. I still haven't seen it. Being on Springsteen, I'm a huge Springsteen fan. That was so when I was growing up, I was raised on Springsteen. I kind of don't want to see it. I didn't want to see it if it wasn't like really good, so
Yeah.
I just skipped it. But yeah,
And that movie, like I think whether you're a fan of his music or not, I think the enjoyment of the film will be the same. Like it doesn't really help or hurt the movie.
mhm.
There's a few scenes that are kind of cool where he's singing, performing, but the movie itself just wasn't memorable. And I think Jeremy Allen White was, he's becoming a more prolific actor, and I think
And everything now.
he does seem like the type of actor who will start seeing more in Oscar nominations down the line. Really good actor, but that movie just wasn't it for me.
Yeah. One other point I wanted to go back to about whether you have to know the person's music to enjoy the biopic. What did you think? Or did you enjoy Better Man, the Robbie Williams biopic?
That's a great movie to bring up because I thought it was a fantastic movie where I became a fan of the music as I was watching the film. I had never really heard of Robbie Williams' music. A lot of people in the United States have not.
Yeah.
And while watching the film, I was like, these songs are great. This movie's has a unique spin by making him a monkey or whatever it is. But it was a very good film, and it had a lot of musical biopic tropes, sure. But that was one of those cases where I wasn't familiar with the music until I saw the movie.
Yeah.
And with music biopics, I almost apply the same rule that I apply to sports movies. I don't have to be a fan of the sport to enjoy what the if it's a movie about a sport I don't watch in real life, I can still enjoy the movie
Yeah.
if it's a good movie. And the same thing goes for music biopics. Like if the movie's heavily relying on just musical numbers, then it doesn't really have a good storyline going. But if it uses the music, and I found this movie with you, I think one of the best music biopics for recent memories, Rocket Man.
Yes.
I think Rocket Man is the way it uses the music to tell the story. No other music biopic really got that experimental, as far as I know.
Yeah. No, that was the last one I could think of. There's a really good. Well, I mean, I thought Aaron Edgerton
Mhm.
was amazing as Elton John. I should got an Oscar nominated for that, but I
Mhm.
thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was electric.
That movie had the misfortune of coming out in 2019, which was just a great year for movies.
That was also, and this is me kind of sort of getting Oscar nerdy for a second. That is the one year I can think of where the Best Actor category needed 10 slots. It needed 10 slots. There were
Yeah.
10 men that could have conceivably gotten nominated for it, and they should have opened up the field.
Mhm.
But that is not the topic of our podcast. But yeah, the Rocket Man, a great movie, and it speaks to a lot of music biopics that you can be great by doing different.
Yeah, I agree. And I think even though it follows a formula, I fully believe that Jafar Jackson should be nominated for Best Actor. Like he really becomes Michael Jackson in that movie. He does the voice, the dancing, all of it, and it's clear that he put a lot of work into it. It's his first time acting. I don't know how much acting he'll do after this. He even said like on Jimmy Fallon, I think like I'm not really an actor. Like my big thing is like golf.
What?
Like that's like what he wanted to be successful in. But he got this opportunity, and now he might get an Oscar nomination out of it, which would be I think he deserves that.
That
Um,
that's insane. Act for the first time. you get an Oscar nomination, you're like, you know what? I'm all right. I'm gonna go golf.
Yeah, it would be wild. But trying to think. Yeah, Delaware Prada 2, wonderful film, but I don't foresee it winning any Oscars. I maybe Meryl Streep just for being Meryl Streep gets in there somehow, but like
Out of habit, really.
out of habit, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
but speaking of Oscar nominations, I think it's a good segue into our next big moment for the year with Obsession and Backrooms. Two original horror films made by young filmmakers under 30, who are new to the scene, haven't really made much else, and both were box office hits. Marketing was done really well for both. As far as Oscar nominations go, I mean, Indie Never Ready for Obsession is a big conversation right now. I almost think that her getting nominated would be like the Academy's apology for like not nominating like Toni Collette for Hereditary or like any horror performance of the last like 20 years. With
um,
the exception of like Silence of the Lambs, I guess.
well,
I'd be further back, but
I will say, we're in a new age
mm,
of, I think horror is getting more and more accepted by the Academy. I mean, we just saw that last year with them giving the Oscar to Amy Madigan for Weapons. I mean, they can award
mm, that's
and
true.
uh,
I almost forgotten that happened.
and also on that subject, if Obsession gets an Oscar nomination, I think it'll almost certainly just get a one for Any Never Ready. I don't see as listen as good as the lead was, as good as Megan Lawless was. I don't see any Oscar buzz for them, and I don't see any
I'd love to see it somehow pull off like a screenplay nod.
that. You know what? I can see that happen. I
That would
can
be
see
good.
that happening. That I can see. But no, yeah, Obsession and Backrooms was one of those moments that I guess we were saying May, June, where two kind of indie horror films.
Mhm.
Speaking on Obsession, so what I know about Obsession, so Curry Barker, he's primarily a YouTuber.
Yeah,
I had watched some of his
a lot of comedy
videos,
skits,
a lot of comedy videos. He
a few short films as well.
made some few short films. He had done stuff with his creative partner, who's also in the movie. He's also in an
Hmm.
Obsession. So I'd watched some of their YouTube videos and stuff, really pioneering the YouTube Shorts, and he had put some short films, horror shorts on YouTube, and was able to make this for what is it, under $500,000 or
It
under?
was made. I think 750K is the budget that gets talked
Yeah,
about online.
and then he makes it with Focus Features. He doesn't make it with Neon. Doesn't make it with A24. He turns down both of them and he goes with Focus Features. And I remember hearing something about it like because A24 and Neon are both American or are both they only distribute in the US and Focus Features is worldwide. So that had a better international distribution strategy. And so because of that, Obsession just became this big thing worldwide. And really, how much did it make at the box office? Like 200 million?
It cost 200 million at least.
Oh, yeah.
It was well outperformed. I think I read that a big story. A lot of stories came out after it did so well. Into Never Ready only was paid like $20,000, and then a lot of the conversation was like, well, now she's probably gonna get like whatever role she wants for like a while because
Hmm.
of the success of this movie. So that's how that I think the theme with these two movies is just almost a feeling of like overnight success. How I don't think either of these movies distributors expected them to do as well as they did. And I'll tell you why, because Obsession was not showing in any premium format, and I saw it the opening night, but like a week later they were showing it in AMC Prime, which is not like a super premium format here, but I guarantee you that if they knew how well this movie would do, they would have played in IMAX or Dolby if they could see in the future.
Sure.
And they didn't. And then Backrooms, I remember that they re-released like an extended cut of it because people were just going to watch these two movies and not just overnight success. They're both original films. Sure, like Backrooms is kind of inspired by a series or something that came partially
It
was already done.
is YouTube series, yeah.
But they're original concepts, original films. There's no franchise attached. You're going to a movie, a little bit what it's about, but not the full extent of it. And people showed up for that, and really important right now because so many movies or franchise extensions or remakes or whatever the case might be. And these two movies kind of showed that people will show up for original stuff if it catches their eye in some way.
Hmm. And speaking a little bit on hack rooms, he put these two films in the same category, but they fundamentally are different.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Hack rooms had a much more solid hacking, you know, A24
That's some big name actors in there for
and
sure.
big name actors. They had a feeling, which is so funny. You put that much trust in a 20-year-old. And
Mm-hmm.
what's funny with Kane Parsons, I don't know much about him. All I know is he's 20 years old. And that was part of the marketing.
That was people like there were so many memes like
Yeah.
number one movie at the box office can't even drink like that kind of thing just going around the internet.
Yeah.
It was really inspiring to see these young guys making movies like this.
Yeah.
And you're right, they're not they're both horror movies that came out around the same time, but watching them is a totally different experience. Obsession is more of a I would say it's more of a character movie. It's more
Really it is.
well, I'll also say I think it's a much better movie. That's just my opinion though.
I agree with that, I said.
But Obsession is more of like the classic like something goes wrong and here's like thrills and horrors. And I think it has a way more I felt more impacted by how it ended versus Backrooms. I was left wanting a little bit more. I think conceptually there's a lot there. Production design is very impressive. Obviously you got some A-list actors in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's all I have for that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, Obsession was a surprise. Backrooms to me had more hype. To me, Backrooms is was a little bit of a letdown. I'll just be
It was,
honest.
yeah, it certainly was. I mean,
Yeah.
an A24 horror movie carries a lot of weight because a lot of A24's early days, they became the powerhouse they are a lot because of the horror movies they put out
Hmm.
early on.
Yeah.
Like movies like Hereditary, The Witch. I mean, there's a lot of horror movies that they are really known for. And they have a very particular style of story that horror that created this whole like elevated horror term. And I'm not a big fan of that term, but like that's what it's whenever it's like a slow burn with like what do they say like with atmosphere, minimal payoff, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I
Uh,
guess that's what you're gonna call it. I mean, I didn't think it was that good as a horror film. I thought it was a good, like, eccentric, story and really kind of built its own universe and things like that.
mhm.
But yeah, what I will say about a couple other thoughts that I had on it, yeah, the acting was a little bit to be desired. Chiwetel Ejiofor, I think, at a time was one of the best working actors.
Mhm.
It's odd to see him in this movie,
Yeah.
I think, and he's kind of, I don't know. His performance was Here's the thing about that. So I see more memes about this film than I do actual critical praise. And a
Yeah.
lot of these memes are about Chiwetel Ejiofor's performance.
Yeah.
I see there were a few lines, I am an architect. I am an effing architect. I see that memed.
Yeah.
And a lot of those other lines just memed over and over again. It'd be like, and it just seems kind of interesting that a caliber of actor is
Mhm.
in kind of an A24 horror film. It's not,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's not, well, we're getting past, well, if you want to use the term elevated horror, we're getting
Mhm.
past where horror is below.
Mhm.
But still seems like a guy who has probably done Shakespeare and stuff is coming down
Yeah,
doing horror.
the performances felt a little bit unnatural to me in Backrooms. I feel like in Obsession, you had so many new faces that you don't really know like any of their like acting styles. Like now, everything that Indy Navarrete does will be compared to Obsession, but before Obsession, I didn't know who she was,
Huh?
and that's why I felt her acting is really what stole the show there. And the movie's so low budget, it you can watch behind the scenes videos and see how they made certain sequences. And it's just very inspiring to see, like as a filmmaker, like it like the week you can really make a lot of things if you have the right tools and the right people. But it really begged the question, like, why are there so many like multi-million dollar films that have like horrible special effects when this movie has under 1 million and everything was convincing. And some gnarly stuff happens in the movie, and you're like, whoa, like that was pretty violent and
Yeah.
um
Obsession had some like genuinely like, oh, what the hell kind
there
of
was
things in
one
it.
that I think if you've seen the movie, you know what moment I'm talking about. like that is just one of the special moments to see in a theater in this year. Like it really just totally comes out of nowhere, and I was pretty startled. The people I was with were startled. And yeah, it's such a good. I mean, Cody Barker is he's gonna I think he's gonna face a little bit of what like Jordan Peele faced when he had to follow Get Out, because he made such a good movie early on. But I'm excited to see what he does next.
Yeah,
I think the sky's the limit, and Kane Parsons is 20, but like Curry Barker's 26. That's he just got his own insurance. Like, like these guys are young and they're hungry. I want to see more of that.
I absolutely do. Talking about backgrounds, I think
It's good.
it's still a solid film. I've been a fan of like less of horror. I've been a fan of like that little subgenre of analog horror. I
Mhm.
think that's very fascinating. Just kind of the unsettling. It's just the what's unsettling is just the nature of it. It's like it's
Yeah.
almost captures an aesthetic. And
Yeah, Backrooms does create that feeling that something's not quite right really well.
yeah, it
The
does.
way it uses the color yellow is very unique.
Ugh,
It's just a gross usage of the color.
so much
Um,
yellow in that film.
but yeah, when it comes down to like, if I had to rewatch one of them right now, I would choose Obsession. I'd be more interested in watching Obsession again. Um,
Yeah,
my critique of Obsession is actually that I think I would have liked just a little bit more of like these friends and their like dynamic. Like that could have added a little bit more for me. Like, I mean, it kind of the character makes the wish kind of early in the film, and maybe that's everything that we need is there. But I think maybe understanding more of why Bear was like so obsessed with Nikki would have been more interesting. I mean,
agreed.
there's a little bit of the exposition's a little fast. That's my only critique of the film. Otherwise, I think it's a great film and one of the year's best. The only film I like more this year is obviously Chris Nolan's The Odyssey,
Hmm.
which is our next topic. The Odyssey and Spider-Man, which is the most recent box office smash. Both of them starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, and John Bernthal.
Yeah.
Uh, three of them are in both films. So I saw The Odyssey twice in theaters, both times in IMAX, but neither time in 70 millimeter IMAX. Did not make the trip to another city to do that, and they're all booked anyway. But really great movie to watch again, like any other Nolan film. That second watch is where you really, really appreciate the story and what he had laid out. As someone who's always loved Greek mythology, I was really curious what he would do with it. So that to me, that's the best movie I've seen this year, kind of unquestionably. Spider-Man: Brand New Day, great film. Not my personal favorite Spider-Man movie. Has to be Spider-Man 2. To me, it felt like the story was Spider-Man 2 meets Thunderbolts and then put them into one movie. A lot of the same themes of Thunderbolts were in the movie. But it was good. I mean,
Hmm.
I have critiques of that film, but I don't want to spoil the movie for Zach.
Actually, I have not seen Spider-Man Brand New
but,
Day, but
but I have issues with that film. But it's a good movie. And it's bringing people to theaters in droves. I think it's good. It's approaching 800 million in just the U.S.
oh my God. So it's just what 800 just in the US. So that means it's probably already made a billion worldwide.
It's definitely cost a billion worldwide. But let me
Jeez.
check the official numbers as we speak for both
I
films.
mean, I believe you, but
The Odyssey is an R-rated film, so maybe it has a harder time getting.
yeah, I don't think the Odyssey has crossed a billion. I mean, it could, but I
So
would doubt if it
in the
has.
U.S. currently, the Odyssey has made 481.5 million,
Okay.
and then Spider-Man: Brand New Day has made 715.8 million in just the U.S. alone.
Jeez.
And what's funny about this is when I saw Spider-Man: Brand New Day, I was not able to make it to the Dolby Showtime, and I saw it in the regular theater, still a big auditorium. But then after how well the movie did after the first weekend, the studio said, "Oh, Spider-Man's gonna be playing in IMAX next weekend." So they took some of the Odyssey showtimes out to fit Spider-Man in there.
That's amazing.
So the first movie in human history that was shot start to finish with IMAX cameras gets booted for a couple showtimes for Spider-Man. That's what happened there. That was kind of wild.
That is
Um,
wild. That is wild. So yeah, so speaking on the Odyssey, yeah, I saw the Odyssey. I did not see Spider-Man, but I saw the Odyssey. Yeah, I mean Christopher Nolan. I mean, this is it almost feels like this was the movie he was always like meant to make.
Hmm.
Everyone has those. He needed to be given. He needed to be given universal recognition and acclaim. He needed to be given the keys. He needed to be given the keys.
Hmm.
And after, a long career, making the Dark Knight trilogy and Inception, he was close. Then when he made Oppenheimer, he was there. He got the Oscar. Unquestionably, he is that guy.
Yeah.
So he was given the keys. And once he has that mandate, now he has the resources where he can make this movie.
Yeah.
Get the best actors you can. Any actor is going to say yes to you. You can film all over the world, spend an exorbitant amount of money and resources to make such a complex story that is almost as old as time
Yeah.
um, happen. And I think by all metrics, he absolutely succeeded.
Is a phenomenal movie, and it pairs really well with Oppenheimer because both films kind of center around, I think, themes of regret and doing something. He's always been obsessed with, the limited time we have in our lives, and obviously the journey of Odysseus, which spans years, is is going to be something that he's going to eat up. And I did have initial concerns with the Odyssey because of the internet trolls who were disliking the trailer and criticizing it for casting choices, but
Mm.
within a couple days of the movie being released, I was like, I'm not worried about this movie being review bombed or anything like that. Like people can't deny how good it is. Like it's a great film, and he's really just the I think he's the one of those filmmakers that his films feel like an event. It's one of the few times where I'm excited that, oh, there's a 3 hour Chris Nolan movie coming out, and I'm ready to sit through all 3 hours, maybe multiple times. Not every movie that's that long I want to do that.
Yeah.
um, oh yeah, if we're gonna talk about big name directors, I mean, I thought Spielberg's new film Disclosure Day was heavily disappointing. I don't know how it performed at the box office, but he's also one of my favorite filmmakers, so I'm really glad at least Nolan came through for me this year. Disclosure Day wasn't bad, but it was weird, and I just think I don't know. When I saw Spielberg in an Alien movie again, I was like, I'm not really excited about this, and then the movie itself wasn't that good. So,
Yeah,
and it felt long. It's not even as long as the Odyssey, but it felt longer than the Odyssey
really, it actually felt longer than the Odyssey.
to me. Yeah,
Yeah, because listen, I think the Odyssey felt long, in my opinion, and that's not a bad thing.
yeah,
It felt long because it is long. I don't think feeling long is a criticism.
yeah.
I mean it can be, but like,
If it feels long and you're feeling extended moments when you're not engaged with the film, that's what I'm more talking about.
I was fully engaged, but also this is a journey. I mean, it is a
Yeah.
full journey. The movie's about how long this journey is.
Yeah.
So the movie's
Honestly, I was surprised they only wanted to make it one film. They could easily drag this into two films if they really wanted
I'm
to.
so glad they didn't.
I'm glad. I mean, I know how Nolan is. He's gonna get it all in there in one if he can.
Yeah.
The only sequel he's ever done is the Dark Knight trilogy. So, but yeah, the movie was great. When I watched it again, I appreciated the first and second act a lot more. I could see how it led into the third act more naturally. I mean, I read parts of the Odyssey in ninth grade, like most people.
Yeah.
But I had totally forgotten how pretty much everything that happens in the last hour of the film. I had no recollection of that, so that was fun seeing. I remembered like the Cyclops and Calypso, but I really think it takes a master storyteller to take a story that's thousands of years old and make it accessible to a modern audience while also staying true to what it is. So I think he did a really good job of that.
Absolutely, he did.
And both films are still doing really well, still going strong. Looking ahead, I don't see any films kind of usurping the box office success of those two films.
Wait, so does that mean Spider-Man Brand New Day is gonna be the top box office film of the year?
It's very possible, but Avengers Doomsday also comes out this year,
Wait, how does that come out again?
December 18th, the same weekend as Dune Part 3. That's going to be another pop culture moment.
Oh,
Doomsday.
damn. Okay, so he'll be back on to talk about that, I'm sure.
Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday. That's what they're
Avengers
calling it.
Doomsday, yeah, you saw it, Doomsday. I mean, that'll be a moment. That'll be you said December 13th,
18th.
18th.
Right before
Okay,
Christmas.
good time. Okay, so that'll be. I think one of those two films is going to be Spider-Man: Brand New Day. Now
Yeah.
maybe not within the year, maybe not within the year because they might just run out the clock
And Spider-Man, it is a MCU film, but Spider-Man has always had its own fan base outside of MCU fans. So I still think Spider-Man is going to outperform Avengers. But the success of Spider-Man might have created some excitement for Avengers. There's also that possibility.
Yeah, I think yeah. No, yeah, no, you're right. Spider-Man is the one Marvel franchise that's always had a world outside of it.
Hmm.
That one, I mean, here others, but like, because it just always felt like it was separate. I mean,
Yeah,
that was one. I mean, its rights were handled differently, still are.
yeah. Sony's never going to let that license go.
And why would they?
There's no benefit for them for that.
Hold on for dear life, son.
Um, but yeah, I think the box office is doing great. I think people are going to the movies again. I'm seeing all these reports about how Gen Z is like a movie going audience there. And it's funny because I know the CEO of Netflix was saying like people don't want to go to the movies anymore. They want to watch it at home.
Yeah.
And then right after he said that, like we had this summer of just nonstop hits. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Here's a question I have,
Mhm.
because you were saying about like
Mhm.
watching movies, or you saying, people Gen Z doesn't want to go to movie theaters, we would rather watch it at home. Do you think the Odyssey would at least be an enjoyable experience at home?
I think it would be, but I think if you don't see it in IMAX, you genuinely are missing out on seeing it the way it was meant to be seen.
Now, do you think it would be an enjoyable experience if you watch it on your phone?
I think if you've already seen the film, it can be,
Okay.
but it's not. That's not the way to watch it.
I just think that'd be like, well, because I see all those memes about like
As Melanie,
watching Nellen, and it's on the smallest screens possible.
I had a friend, and I'll keep her anonymous, but she had told me she watched Oppenheimer on a plane ride, and I'm like, that's a horrible way to watch that movie because
True.
there's so much talking, and then you're like, I don't know. When I'm on a plane, I'm not like 100% like with us. Like like I watch movies on planes, but they have to be like not super complicated or hard to follow.
See, I don't agree with that. I'm someone who I watch movies on planes a lot, and
Yeah.
that's a good way to catch up with big
Yeah.
movies you
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
seen.
I'm not criticizing anyone watching on a plane, but I think a movie that's to me like I see Chris Nolan films as event films. Like I think you have to see them in a theater. Like it just at the very least you have to see it in the best setup you can get your hands on. Like if it's not the theater, something in your home, something in a friend's home, it's going to elevate the experience with the way the sound is designed and the way the epic nature of every film. But yeah, I
I
mean,
agree.
I think certainly a plane ride's a great time to catch up on a movie you haven't seen. I come across the issue where I've just seen too many of the options they have,
Oh no,
which,
for you.
which is why I usually would download movies on Netflix actually before I get on the plane.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Then I am watching it on my phone at that point.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of films where I watched it on my phone and I'm like that was not hindered by watching it on my phone at all. um, but yeah, all that to say, like I think it's a good time to be a moviegoer. It's a good time to if you're pursuing filmmaking. There's a lot of inspiring people at work, a lot of positive reinforcement that like the industry's not dead. Original ideas are still supported by studios. The future doesn't feel as grim as I feel like it did maybe like a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think the business side of film is really having kind of an awakening, with what's been going on in the box office. At the same time, there's a lot of good Who blood that is coming out, and the industry's in good hands.
And we always have James Cameron making the next Avatar.
We always will. We always will.
He directed that Billy Eilish concert movie? What? He's a director. Him and Billie Eilish were both directors for that film.
You know what? I think I knew that. I just forgot that. That like doesn't make sense to me.
Also, concert films. I saw that film in Dolby 3D, and that was actually one of the best concert movies I've seen in a while. The whole experience was so cool. But I was like, it's so funny he's taking a break from Avatar to make this concert movie.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think it'd be funny. It'd be like, okay, but I need to spend $500 million.
yeah,
Oh, find ways to make that happen.
it was pretty cool. Like it was. I think I saw that. For my letterbox review, I put Billie Eilish. It was nice for Billie Eilish to give newcomer James Cameron this opportunity.
Yeah, basically.
So all that to say, we have talked about our filmmaking endeavors sometimes on this podcast. So we got pretty busy this year by shooting a few new projects, but also wrapping a film that Zach and I co-wrote and co-directed, called "Thank You for Your Interest," and we're actually screening it in theaters tomorrow for the first official screening.
Hmm.
It's a story about a day in the life of a young man searching for his next job, and you're kind of realizing that it's a long road ahead for the path he's on. And that will be online at some point soon. But we got pretty tied up with the post production of that.
Hmm.
A lot of changes going on in our lives in the summer, but I'm excited. I'm excited to show it to people,
Time to.
and it's really like seeing all these cool films in theaters that keeps us inspired to keep making stuff. And there are oftentimes I watch a movie and I'm like, I'd love to make something like that one day.
Yes,
Um, yeah,
everything you do should be inspiration, should be like artistic inspiration. Oh, I can use this, and should be higher
mm,
that I know how to do this now because I've seen it done, and now I want to make it.
yeah. Once you, what if you're hesitant to try filmmaking or don't even know where to start, I mean, sometimes just throwing yourself into it is the best way, and meeting the right people in whatever city you're in, find that community. That's really helpful.
Hmm.
And yeah, just I mean, Curry Barker gave great advice on the red carpet where he said, just go out and make a movie. Don't wait for it to be perfect. And then I think on the flip side, I think I saw an interview last year, maybe 2 years ago when Anora was bigger with Sean Baker. And someone asks, they always ask the filmmakers what your advice is, and a majority of them say like, go make a movie, go start making movies. That's the best way. But Sean Baker said something really interesting. He said he's echoed that as well in the past, but he also said like, watch everything, learn from everything, watch good movies, watch bad movies, watch. You can learn something from any movie you watch, whether you like it or not.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm a big believer of like I watch all kinds of movies. I don't care if they have like bad reviews, good reviews. Like if it looks like a movie that I want to see, like I'm gonna watch it. That's helped me a lot personally. So
I agree with that. No,
yeah,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can look for inspiration in filmmaking anywhere.
yes,
One other thing for aspiring filmmakers, just um, find spaces where there's like-minded people,
yes,
people that want fellow creatives. You might not have the same exact endeavors in mind of like, oh, I want to make these kinds of movies. You might not have the same, might not see eye to eye exactly artistically, but really try and get that person into your network because you never
yeah,
know when you need to rely on someone and
mm,
and you don't know who those people know.
yeah,
Build your networks out because it's amazing because yeah, like Yasha said, he'd been busy working on this film that's in the post production work that we were in the post production for. We've also been working on our own projects as well. He's been writing and directing a couple of films,
yeah,
and I have been editing for other people.
yeah.
And a lot of that happened because of network. All of that happened because of networking.
Mm-hmm.
I would say all of that was possible because we knew people who knew people.
Yeah, just keep meeting people. That's the only way you're gonna find out who you like working with, who you don't like working with. Well, you learn a lot by being on set, and you get a lot of confidence over time. And yeah, we encourage everyone out there who wants to create, whether it's films, music, literature, like or a podcast, like just create stuff if you want to create it. That's really all I have to say. And like, just make it, just do something you like. Like if it makes money down the line, that's great. But make sure you like it first, because
Create.
if you don't even like it, and if you're just wanting financial success, I think I did have masterclass for a year, and Martin Scorsese did say like, like if you want to be a filmmaker, you have to really feel like it's your life's calling, or like it's not gonna work out. Like it has to feel like you cannot live your life without making films. Like it just doesn't compute. And that's kind of how he echoed it in episode one. Um, and I agree. I think if it's something you love to do, just do it, and the money will follow for those who put in the time and effort.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it may not seem like it, but the hard work does eventually pay off.
Yeah. And I'm turning 30 in 1 minute.
Happy birthday, Yash.
Happy birthday to me, I guess.
Yes. And I think we
Oh, it's midnight. Yep.
happy birthday.
All right, we'll end it. We'll end it at the birthday.
I've been in at the birthday. All right. Well,
All right, well, we have reached the end of today's discussion. Thanks for all of you for listening. If you enjoy our show, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave us a review or rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can stay up to date with new episodes by giving us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and support our show by checking out our available merch. We hope you tune in next time. We have a lot more content on the way. See you guys next time.